Wissam Ben Yedder as they knocked out Man United. That is what he can do from a deep midfield position. He gives you an extra option to think about as a defender. So for me, Argentina, it's about their team selection. And they should remember, they should carry Messi to the World Cup, not Messi carry them.
Joel Bright, what do you think about the football heavyweights and giants? Of course, as we speak right now, World Cup is around the corner, 3 months to the kickoff, actually 2 months to the kickoff in Russia, and a lot of teams being touted as the favorites to be crowned champions. Germany, of course, some of the pundits saying that they stand a chance of, you know, retaining the title they won last time in Brazil in 2014. France as well also being heavily mentioned alongside teams like Brazil, 5-time World Cup champions. But you know, Argentina, England, Belgium are conspicuously missing from, you know, the favorites. What's your take about such teams, whom we've thought that they are giants in football, but you know, not near favorites?
Okay, for me, it's that most people are rating teams as favorites according to their FIFA ranking, where Germany and Brazil are topping the FIFA ranking at the moment. So at the end of the day, it's not about the FIFA rank, it's about the form and the formation which team are playing going forward into the World Cup. Like even the recent game again, which Germany played against Brazil, for me I support Germany. But you are so disappointed because Germany, origin of German football is closing down spaces and attacking as a team and defending as a team. But when they played against Spain, they were waiting for Spain to dictate the game, then they follow. Like Timo Wagner, he was playing like the solo striker, but most of the time he was at the wing. But that's not the German system, where a striker remains at his position, in and out striker, and then balls come from the fullbacks. So when Timo Wagner is going on this other side, and Draxler is going on this other side, Hector cannot overlap, as well as Kimmich cannot overlap. So Germany need to get their formation and their origin first before they go to World Cup. Because international break, they have not won any game. They drew against Spain and they lost against Brazil. And Brazil could have beaten them, not even 1, 3-0, because they didn't play their game. Coming to France. France has so many stars which the coach cannot fill them. Or like the first game he had Pogba outside, the next game he had Pogba inside, and he had like Griezmann outside. So he's not sure who is the best player for the team going forward. So most teams, they are not sure of their first 11. Let me say of their first 11 going to the World Cup. So that makes it difficult. But for me, I would say England going forward. I've watched their game twice. I watched against Netherlands and I watched their game against Italy. At least England are playing the system which Chelsea played last season, where they're playing 5 at the back, then 3 in the midfield, then 3 in front. So it's a good system. They are trying to be fluid. So they attacked well against Netherlands and also they attacked well against Italy. Only that they did have the experienced defender. So that's what they consider goal last minute. But at least England have a formation which they are trying to maintain as they go forward, rather than these other teams which they are losing their identity as they are going to the World Cup. So there will be a surprise. But for Belgium, we cannot rate Belgium yet because Belgium has been playing small teams. We want Belgium to play big teams, then we rate them. Play Saudi Arabia and you score 4-0. So we expect us to say Belgium is on form. So at least they need to come and like choose a good friendly, then we can rate them.
Joe, what do you think about his submissions with regards to England national team? We've seen John Stones, Manchester City defender, hailing and piling much, praise on his coach, saying that, the impact of Pep Guardiola is a big boost to English national squads with additions from Manchester City, Kyle Walker, and even himself featuring for the Three Lions. I don't know where you see it. What do you think? And even as the talk of Jesse Lingard now being the main man for Three Lions is concerned, a team that has been given several names due to their awful show before.
Okay, first of all, the game has really changed, and I think my good friends here will allude to that. The game has become fast. The game has become really fast. So you even start from the back having fast defenders, fast midfielders, and now obviously fast finishers. If you look at the 3 backs for the Three Lions, you have John Stones, you have Harry Maguire, and you have what's his name again? Yeah, sorry. Walker, Kyle Walker. Exactly. You have Kyle Walker. Okay, that's a 3-man defense system. When you go to the wings, you have the likes of Trippier and Danny Rose. When you come in the middle, you have Henderson, you have Klein. When you go to the front, you see now the front has so many changes.
Options.
Yeah, so many options.
Okay.
You can start with Rashford. You can start with Harry Kane. You can also start with Jamie Vardy. Again, look at the supplies on the wings. Look at the supplies from the attacking midfielder. Actually, there is Lingard and there's Lallana. Again, there's even Sturridge if you can pull him in. But now the problem is you have this vast number of squad for England who are shining so well in the Premier League. But when we come to the major stage, you know, they come up short. So I like what Gareth Southgate did. He said, let's take away all the stars. Let's bring these young guys. I was amazed the other day when they drew with Italy. There was a defender from Blackpool, Tarkowski. His name was
James Tarkowski, Burnley.
Sorry.
James
Burnley.
Tarkowski, yes.
Burnley. You see, when these guys are coming through, it is brilliant for the English game as compared to just starting with the stars. So for me, Gareth to just decide, you know what, this is his team, I should take the World Cup. Between now and the World Cup, there's no friendlies, there's no international break. So now this is when now you make your 23-man squad. And I think that's what England should do. Go with that pacey young team. We will not take the World Cup with that, but we'll have so much potential. Quarterfinals, semi-finals. But definitely not the World Cup though. But now you build up for the Euros and for the next World Cup in 2022. Look at Lingard right now in 2022. It's Maguire, Stones, Kyle Walker maybe will be towards the end of his career. Look at Trippier from Tottenham, Danny Rose. I mean, there's this potential.
Excellent performance.
Yes.
Webster Monkey, what do you make of the teams that failed to qualify for 2018 World Cup? Netherlands and Italy, you know, playing very well and trying to prove their critics wrong, insinuating that they ought to have, you know, made it to the international showpiece in Russia, just said for 2 months from now as we speak. Netherlands beating Portugal, the Euro Cup winners, and an upset or
no
deserving?
The Dutch are a football powerhouse in Europe. You don't expect any less. They're supposed to be beating the Portuguese. But you see, the problem with the Netherlands, they did not move on from their golden generation. Sneijder, Van Persie,
Yes.
Mark Van Bommel, Kevin Strootman. Ryan Babel, at least we can say he's still there because he's 32 years old. But they need to move on from that. We need to see more of Memphis. We need to see more of Bruno Martins, Indy. We need to see more of the likes of Eric Peters. We need to see more of these guys. They need to come to the fore. We need to see Justin Kluivert, that wonderful crop of Ajax players that we see lighting up the Eredivisie. We need to see them now come to the national team and take over. Because now things will get difficult from here, because you can see the Germans are already grooming a new generation, a new face. So are the French, so are the Brazilians, so are the English.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm not a fan of England, but Gareth Southgate, having been a centre half himself in his playing days, is showing that he wants to be tactically versatile. You see, he plays with 3 at the back, he plays with 4 at the back, he plays with 3 in midfield, he plays with 2 in midfield. So, for the English, it's all about how they will line up and how they will execute the managers or the coaches' instructions. As for the Italians have they are not known for producing young players, but they need to start producing some and fast. They need to make Serie A bigger than Juventus, Internazionale, AC Milan, and Roma. We need to see young players, but we've seen wonderful players like Jorginho in midfield. He's going to take over from De Rossi as the midfield linchpin for both Roma and Italy.
Yes.
We've seen the likes of there is this young man who plays for Valencia. His name has slipped from my mind. We also have the likes of Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal. We have they have some good young centre halves, so they are also making that step. So they need to play these guys more often and get more options. They need to now face out the likes of De Rossi and forget about the likes of Pirlo and Buffon. They've been excellent servants, but the Italians now need to move from another phase. So for the Dutch and the Italians, it's about moving on from their golden generation.
Let's talk about the performance of African representatives as far as World Cup is concerned. 5 nations are set to represent the continent, and they've also engaged in friendlies, not doing badly. Egypt, led by Mo Salah, not doing badly, and they played Portugal the other day, being beaten 2-1. Mo Salah scoring, Cristiano Ronaldo scoring a brace, but excellent performance from the Pharaohs. Super Eagles of Nigeria are doing exceptionally well as well. Senegal, what do you think about African representatives? Do you think they will pull a surprise? Is there a likelihood where we can witness either of them, causing an upset?
Okay, I think for African teams, the only teams I would say I'm confident with is Egypt as well as Nigeria. For Morocco are a very good team defensively, because you cannot score against Morocco. I think if you count goals that have been scored for the past 6 or 7 games, can't go beyond 5. Maybe I think it is 3 or 2 goals. So Morocco are very good at defensive, as well as for me, I support. I would say Nigeria will go at least far because that they have players who have experience. Then Egypt have players who are on form. At the end of the day, people say there's class is permanent, form is temporary, but you will find most Egyptian players are on form in their clubs as well as in their national team. So for Egypt and Nigeria, they can go past the group stages. But for the rest, like Tunisia being in a group of England and Belgium, so for them to go to the next round, it is difficult. So probably Nigeria and Egypt will go to the next round. That's what I can say.
Nigeria and Egypt will go to the first round. That is his submission. Of course, this is the fan zone where you're focusing on international football, and several fixtures as we speak right now lined up this particular weekend already. Crystal Palace and Liverpool currently underway, still scoreless on 8th minute. Remember our feature game beats Everton and Manchester City coming away at 7:30 p.m. Remember tomorrow Tottenham Hotspurs against Chelsea Football Club is also our feature game. Keep your predictions coming via 22162, starting with the word touch. What do you think about the likely outcomes as far as those two fixtures are concerned? But now to keep you informed with regards to the fixtures lined up this particular afternoon as far as English Premier League is concerned. Brighton playing Leicester 5 p.m. Manchester United against Swansea, same time Newcastle United against Huddersfield, Watford against Bournemouth, West Bromwich Albion playing home against Burnley, then Southampton visits West Ham United. Now let's talk about some sort of European weekend fixtures. In La Liga, Girona against Levante currently underway, and talking about Girona is a team that our very own Michael Engineer Olunga plays for, and he scored a hat-trick. Hopefully this particular afternoon is featuring and he can do the same magic again. Of course, as we speak right now, that game currently underway on 39th minute, still scoreless. Athletic Club will play against Celta Vigo at 5:15 p.m. Las Palmas against Madrid coming away at 7:30 p.m. East African time. Then Sevilla against Barcelona, another cracker at 9:45 p.m. Let's talk about English Premier League and the contention and the run. Of course, as we speak right now, it's for Manchester City to lose. Can we say it's already gone?
Well, I believe as fans we can say yes, it's gone. But again, we still have to do the run of games. You understand? But for this season, they've been brilliant. Sometimes I'm speechless at their performances. You understand? I mean, to have top assist Kevin De Bruyne, some of his inballs to Jesus or Aguero have been short of class. You're sitting down and you're thinking to yourself, how did Chelsea mess up with De Bruyne?
Parting ways with De Bruyne.
And Salah.
How did Chelsea mess up parting with Salah? You understand? So for now, Manchester City, where I look at them and I think you also share my sentiments, is that they are going to walk away with this title. If Manchester United don't do something about it today, okay, we are going to have a guard of honor at some point. And I'm a Manchester United supporter, but you have sometimes to agree that Guardiola had a game plan. Last season, he came in, he read the game, said, okay, Sasa, we're not going to win this time. He came in on the second season. Look at the improvements. Look at the youngsters who he has made. Big names. Look at the way De Bruyne is playing. De Bruyne is playing like someone who has been playing for the Premier League, I don't know for how many seasons.
He's an elite player now. He's world class.
Yes, he is. I mean, look at the attacking options. You can even play De Bruyne at some point as a striker if you want. This guy, the team Manchester City have right now is close to perfect. It's close to perfect. The only team I can compare it to close to perfect is Barcelona, and that was 4 seasons ago.
Webster, we've had an argument with you over the pedigree and potential of one Pep Guardiola, a man who's managed Barcelona before. It's something that he always wants to get a polished squad thriving on an already finished product, but he's done exceptionally well with Manchester City. Do you think he's on the verge of overtaking what we've had before as the elite managers in Jose Mourinho? Alex Ferguson is gone, and the likes of Joachim Low, as far as the national team coaching is concerned. What do you make of potentiality of Pep Guardiola?
Okay, Pep, even as he came to Man City, I already rated him the best manager in the world, with Mourinho a close second. Now, when he came to Man City, he tried to instill his philosophy of tiki-taka on a squad that was already used to the kamikaze football of Manuel Pellegrini. So he took a step back in the off-season and he took down the entire squad. He was not shy. He offloaded majority of the players and he built a new look back four. We've seen him convert David Silva from an attacking midfielder to an elite world-class deep line playmaker. He plays alongside Fernandinho in midfield. You see, we've seen him take Kevin De Bruyne to another level. Sergio Aguero is world class. He has maintained his level. Gabriel Jesus already looks to be nearly a world beater under Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola, we can say, he has always been ahead of Mourinho one way or another. But he has some way to go if he's to emulate what Sir Alex Ferguson emulated as a club manager, because he won nearly 33 major honors. But in my calculations, Pep is already halfway there. Because Sir Alex Ferguson won slightly above 30 major trophies, about 33. And Pep Guardiola is now nearing 20. So he's almost there, but he's not yet there. But he's already an elite coach, and he's one that I wanted to be Arsenal manager when he left Bayern Munich. And that's why I've never forgiven the Arsenal hierarchy for sticking with Arsene Wenger and letting this guy join Man City. So, yes.
Joel Bright, you're putting and donning a Juventus jersey. As you speak right now, it's a hotly contested battle in Serie A, of course, between Juventus and Napoli. Juventus leading the standings with 75 points, 2 points adrift, of course, with Napoli coming in second. They are playing AC Milan tonight in what the pundits think will be mouth-watering clash of the day. What do you think about the run as far as Italian league is concerned? Is it too monotonous to be won by Juventus all day long?
No, I would say for the past 5 years it has been monotonous because it has been won by Juventus. But this season it has been different because Napoli was in Champions League, but they had to leave Champions League to concentrate on the league. They went to Europa, but they still had to leave Europa to concentrate on the league. So for them, it was both the league and the league. They were ahead until they lost to Roma. 3 games ago, so they lost to Roma, so Juventus overtook them. So Napoli at least is giving Juventus a run of its money at Serie A. So it's not like a one-off league like Bundesliga or like the French series of the French League One. So at least now there's competition, because Juventus cannot accept to mess today's match against AC Milan. They have to win so that to maintain the 2-point gap, because at the end of the day Napoli will still win. They are in a winning strike, as well as Juventus are in a winning strike. And AC Milan, the last time they lost was in December, so they are in Serie A, apart from losing to Arsenal in Europe. In Serie A, the last time they lost is in December, I think 23rd. So at the end of the day, these are two teams on form. Juventus in form, AC Milan in form. So it's going to be a big clash. Probably to be a 1-0, a close tie where Juventus will just win 1-0, maybe with Diabalo or Higuain scoring.
We all of us have to unanimously agree that AC Milan and Inter Milan, both teams are nowadays not in public limelight owing to what the teams have gone through, not really performing very well as far as Italian football is concerned. Maybe what do you think might have contributed towards their downfall? Because we all remember the two teams, Inter Milan winning Champions League under Jose Mourinho, McDonald Mariga, the Kenyan, playing for them, though he didn't step onto the pitch that particular night. Milan causing, disastrous night for Manchester United in 2008. Gabriel Heinz and Patrick Evra hitting against each other during that night, where a man whom Sir Alex Ferguson described that as having been born in an offside position, scoring without even the man center referee noticing. That is Felipe Inzaghi. What do you think about the two teams and their diminishing?
Okay, there are two reasons. The first one, those teams didn't like inject new players into their system. They are going with all the players to a certain level, like when you had like Sedov for AC Milan and so many old players. When they were going to retire, there was nobody to come and take over from these other players. So that still affected Inter Milan with Diego Milito, Snidely. So most of this team had all the players till the last time when they retired, and there was nobody to take over. The second thing is change of manager. Like, I can't remember the last time AC Milan finished one season without changing managers like twice. Same to Inter Milan. So change of managers and having old players contributed to their downfall. At the end of the day, there was a rise of Juventus. When these teams are trying out like dropping down, Juventus started rising. Because that time was of Antonio Conte being in Juventus, and Conte in Juventus what he did. So when this team were dropping, Juventus rise, and they could not get Juventus in because mostly bought some of these players from AC Milan and Inter Milan to be stable. So at the end of the day, those are the two reasons: old players and change of coaches.
Joe, Africans and especially Kenyans have failed to keenly follow the proceedings of French League One and some sort of Bundesliga because of the monotony that has been depicted in both leagues. Bayern Munich winning Bundesliga throughout, and even Paris Saint-Germain are on the brink of being crowned champions as far as the France League One title is concerned. AB, what can we attribute to dominancy of specific teams in the two leagues? Because we've seen English Premier League attracting huge interest, huge attention from African continent in terms of followers because of the stiff competition that has been seen. Maybe for France and Germany, the two leagues, what has been the main undoing and some sort of disconnect?
What I can say is this: what the English Premier League first did is that they realized that the world speaks English. That's one thing. So secondly, they realized that with that we can have a mass marketing, especially in Africa. Why? They looked at Africa and they saw this potential of having more fans in Africa, because our own leagues in Africa are not working that well, in the exception to maybe South Africa and Nigeria and Morocco and these other countries. But they realized, okay, so this is what we can do. We can go promote the English Premier League. We can even have past winners go to these African countries. You'll have the likes of Wondri coming to Kenya.
True.
You understand? You'll have the likes of Marcel Desailly going to South Africa promoting again the Premier League.
Leon Osman.
In
the country.
Yes, that's the other thing. Provide coverage. Okay, link up with the giants of sports providers. For example, SuperSport. Link up with Bing Sport. Link up with Sky Sports. Offer packages for African countries so that they can watch the games. Offer them incentives. If you watch 3-4 games, if you enter into a certain competition, you can come and watch a live Premier League game. When was the last time you had the league come to Kenya and promote its league? Or come to any African state and promote its league? When was the last time Serie A brought maybe Gattuso, who we know as one of the toughest midfielders in the world ever since he started playing and since he stopped playing? He's never come. You understand? You need that exposure to promote your leagues. What we'll sit down and do, we will realize that we have teams like now PSG. We will know PSG because of their dominance, because they have Arab owners, and because they're in the Champions League. Other than that, if we sit down and we discuss about the last 10 PSG games in League A, we'll have a problem. Not because we don't want to talk about it, it's because of the lack of exposure. Communication is vital, and that's what the Premier League realized.
Webster, over to you. Arsenal, and you continue being optimistic that they will win Europa League this season, and probably by the virtue of the same qualified UEFA Champions League next season, the same way and same route Man United did. As far as your weekend fixture is concerned, what are the expectations?
We expect nothing short of a resounding win. Yes, as I was telling my friend here, I've been watching Stoke City supporters having a go at Arsenal supporters on Arsenal Fan TV. It's clear the Stoke supporters don't like us, and we clearly don't like them. And it would be very satisfying to watch Arsenal win and send them one step closer to the trapdoor. So it will be encouraging, because watching a Stoke fan give you a lecture on success, it's ridiculous. It's frankly ridiculous. An Arsenal fan is looking at the prospect of being an Europa League winner in May, and one is looking at the prospect of playing with Cardiff and Birmingham and Bolton and Scunthorpe, and they're giving you a lecture on success. Frankly, it's laughable. So it will be good to see Arsenal stick one over them, wipe the floor with them, and send them back to the championship.
One of our feature games happening tonight at 7:30, Everton playing host to Manchester City. Can they pull a surprise?
No. City will they'll simply pass Everton to death. Because Everton don't have what it takes to stop City. We've seen City make short work of good sides like Chelsea, good sides like Arsenal. And the only team that really caused them problems was Liverpool. But, Liverpool have a razor-sharp attack. The same can't be said for Everton. But I expect maybe they'll make a feast of it. I expect City to maybe win 2-1, 3-1.
Crystal Palace against Liverpool. That game is currently underway in 22nd minute. Crystal Palace leading, and in case that game ends like that, it will be one of the early kickoff upsets. But as Liverpool and how they are well known, they are looking forward, bouncing back and beating the opponents. Of course, they are visiting Crystal Palace. That game currently underway. Several fixtures lined up this particular afternoon, but tomorrow, Chelsea against Spurs. What are your expectations?
I'm expecting an attacking Spurs. I'm expecting a passing Chelsea. I'm expecting a 1-1. Okay, I'll explain why a 1-1. And what Chelsea is going to do is going to go back to this formation that Morata works with, not that Giroud works with.
Yes.
It's a 3-4-2-1. Two behind Morata being Hazard and Willian. So that when Morata is holding the ball, these guys can come into the gameplay. You understand? But if they use the other formation, which they go for 3-5-2, you understand? At that point, they'll have missed it if they put Giroud in. Because yes, he'll hold the ball, but who are the supporters coming in? Do you want the likes of Kante running in, Bakayoko? You don't want them to run in. You want them to hold back, because Tottenham are going to attack. Dele Alli will be looking at the gap between the defenders and the defensive midfielders. And Kane will be there wondering, oh, can I get a through pass? Can I get a through ball? We have on the wing. I don't know if he'll start the game, but Trippier will be running on the right wing from defense to attack. So tactically, I just hope Conte is ready for an attacking Tottenham. Tactically, I hope Tottenham are aware that Chelsea is going to field a very heavy midfield.
Just to add on what he's saying,
As we wind up,
Spurs have Mauricio Pochettino is one of the best tactical managers around. Sometimes he gets his execution wrong when it matters most. But we do expect Tottenham with, and they have a solid midfield base. They have Dyer, they have a very old man, Wanyama, my favorite. They have Musa Dembele. So they can shut Chelsea down. But Chelsea, I would only disagree with you on one thing. I think the 3-4-2-1, it's better they start with Giroud up top, because Giroud is a physical striker and he'll engage the likes of Davinson Sanchez and Jan Vertonghen. Liverpool, Spurs are not short of physical defenders. Their defenders can take care of themselves. So they need a big guy who can offer them something to think about. Morata is too soft for me. He's nimble, he's quick, but they'll shut him down.
But you see, if Vertonghen is playing, and you have Sanchez, and Sanchez is drawn into a battle, you have Morata who can run faster than Vertonghen and score. Where I was arguing that was because if you look at the goals that Morata Hazard has contributed with that formation, has been at least 15 goals. As compared now to Giroud, who has come in recently, and we look back at Giroud's playing style in Arsenal, you guys would put him up front, and who would be behind him?
We'd have Ozil.
Okay, but now does he have the same supply when it comes to Chelsea?
No,
he
not
doesn't
really.
have.
Yes.
I was basing it on that. But if you're looking for physicality, Giroud will win hands down.
Yes.
Yes, and bring in the rest of the gameplay. Correct.
Let's keep the conversation going on our social media platforms at Wasike Maxwell, at Y254 channel, at hashtag touchline Y254 2162 is our SMS line. Even as the show comes to an end, let's keep the conversation going as far as international football is concerned, and various fixtures lined up this afternoon and even tomorrow. Remember tonight Sevilla also playing host to Barcelona. Can Ben Yedder score brace like he did against United to bundle them out of Champions League?
Barcelona is a team which is unbeaten in La Liga.
Yes.
So it cannot start being beaten by Sevilla. And Sevilla have not won against any big six in La Liga. So Barcelona is a normal win against Sevilla.
Sure.
I'm sure. Still like Barcelona, Man City, and Chelsea tomorrow. Those are the teams I'm going to
Madrid.
Our feature game, Everton playing home against Manchester City tonight at 7:30 p.m. Then tomorrow, Spurs against Chelsea. Keep sending your predictions via 22162, starting with the word touch, and you can be part of the program even as the show comes to an end. Of course, always a pleasure doing this every Saturday 1 to 3, where we delving and dissecting about matters sports in various sporting disciplines, both locally and beyond. And always a pleasure having you on board every Saturday 1 to 3. Of course, our mother channel, KBC Channel 1, bringing you live the exclusive tie beating Nakumatt, the cash-strapped side against Sofapaka, happening at Ruaraka Stadium in just a few minutes from now. That game will be kicking off. Remember, Y254 channel will also bring you live action on Monday, and the Tusk FC against FC Leopards also happening tomorrow on Monday, this 3rd of April, the year 2018. That's been Touchline on Y254. My name is Maxwell Wasik. Always a pleasure having you on board and coming through to discuss about international football. Joe, Webster, and Joel.
You haven't talked about Manchester United. You know there are fans outside there.
Manchester United playing against Swansea.
Yeah, Swansea.
And of course, they will beat them. Hope.
No, they'll beat them. They'll beat them.
Not talking from a partisan view though, because I'm a Nottingham Forest fan.
They'll not want to give a guard of honor next week.
Have a fantastic weekend.